Hi everyone. So this video is going to be a little bit different because watching Gemma's video on her weight gain story was just really inspiring, and I know that sounds like really cheesy, but I'd been meaning to do something a little bit similar for a while, and I just was kind of not sure how people would take it, and I wasn't sure really what to say, and how it had come across and that kind of thing. But it is something that's really important to talk about, and I think it is something that a lot of us experience. So I just wanted to kind of just sit here and just tell you my story and yeah, just my feelings on the subject really. So I know so many of us are just obsessed with, weight and weight gain and all that kind of thing, and everywhere you look you see it, everyone you talk to knows someone who's on a diet or is on a diet and all that kind of thing. And for me, I think it all kind of started because when I was a kid, my dad used to take photos of me a lot. And he used to take photos of me, and he was a very good photographer, and he used to take them to this woman to get them developed. And one day, without my dad knowing, she sent off some of the pictures to like a child's beauty contest. And about a month later, my dad gets a phone call saying, "Can you please come and pick up the car you've won?" The car was the first prize. "Can you please come and pick up the car that you've won in this beauty competition?" My dad thought someone was having a laugh and just put the phone down. And then they phoned back and they were like, "No, sir, we're serious. Like, can you please come and pick this car up that you've won, your daughter's photos?" And he was like, "What?" And then he realised that she must have sent them, and he spoke to her and she said, yeah, that she had sent them. And so we went up there to collect the car. It was a really nice car. I was 3.5, nearly 4 at the time. I had very big curly blonde hair, and yeah, we went, and the deal was I had to kind of do a photo shoot for a calendar. And it was just like one calendar. It was for AGFA, for the Developing Photos Company. And I don't remember it very well, if I'm honest. I mean, I was really little, but I can just remember that I didn't like it. I found it boring. I didn't want to stay there. My mum didn't really want me to do it. It was a bit kind of, pageant queen for her, and she had to just stand there and tell me stories and try and keep me occupied while they were taking photos. And they took the photo in the end, and it was all great, and it was a really lovely calendar. I should have got it. I'm sure I've got photos somewhere. I should have got one to show you guys. But yeah, and from that point onwards, I think it kind of just made me realise. And I think it's not really a good thing to realise when you're little, because it made me realise that people thought I was pretty. And I'm not saying this in a cocky way, but I got told all the time by everybody how pretty I was. And when you get told it all the time, you end up just thinking that it's part of you. And I was really little, and people just used to tell me it all the time. And I think it really shaped who I became later in life, because when you get told it all the time, you end up just thinking that that's who you are. You don't really understand what it means. So I went through life kind of everything was good, and I was the pretty girl, and all that kind of thing. And then when I was younger, when I was a kid, and then, sorry, I keep feeling in my hair, it's just really annoying me today. Then needs a wash. Then when I turned about 10, no, it was before that actually, I started putting weight on, and I started wanting to look different. And my hair had gotten darker, and I'd put a little bit of puppy fat on, and I'd developed, like Gemma said in her video, I'd developed really early. I got a period when I was 10, and I remember having to actually go to the doctors, and they do a scan of the size of the bones on your hand to see whether or not it's okay, and if they need to put you on kind of hormones to stop it for a little while. And I was absolutely mortified because I wasn't ready for that, and for boobs, and for the curvy hips and all that. I wasn't ready for it. And at the time I was fine, but thinking about it now, it was not good. I wasn't ready for that kind of thing at that age. And obviously, like, my body just, your body knows when it's ready and it does its thing. But I felt like I just felt like I was different. And I remember, like, with a friend or whatever, that we'd always, like, we'd just go in the bath together, like when you're little, like you do. And I couldn't, because I felt self-conscious, and I was quite chubby. And the thing is, as well, is I think when you reach, I think it's like if you weigh less than 50 kilos, your period takes a lot longer to come. And basically, the heavier you are, it somehow connects to how old you are when you get your first period. Because I've got a friend who didn't get a period till she was like 16, because she was super, super skinny. And I think I'm not sure what the medical reason for it is, but that is how it works. And it was really, really difficult for me, because I didn't know what to do, and I just felt like gross. And then around the kind of age of, like, I don't know, 12, 13, because I was always used to being told how pretty I was, and then suddenly, you're in that kind of gawky phase. I was a little bit chubby, not that pretty. People would make comments and people would say things, and I suddenly realised, like, oh, does that mean I'm not pretty anymore because I'm chubby? And it was really, really difficult. I didn't know what to do. And so I started kind of, like, dieting, and it was really, like, not controlled. Like, I don't know how my mum would kind of think that it was a good idea, but I'd make these silly diets where I'd eat, like, crackers for breakfast, and then, like, a dry piece of toast and a cucumber and a hard-boiled egg, and call it a day. And I lost weight, and I started looking nice again. And it wasn't so much the weight that I'd lost. I think it was more just growing up a little bit, and you kind of lose a little bit of that podginess and that kind of awkward teenage look. And I kind of slowly, and that's the thing, it's a very, very slippery slope. I ended up being really obsessed with food and really obsessed with losing weight. And I'd do things like just eat an apple a day, and that was it. And I was thin. I was very thin. I didn't look anorexic or ill or anything like that, but I was very thin, like thinner than it's natural for my body to be, basically, because I wasn't eating. And my mum took me to see a doctor, and he basically said to me, like, you don't need to lose any more weight, you're absolutely fine, but your thinking pattern is starting to be a little bit like someone who's got an eating disorder, and if you don't sort it out, you're going to have to go and see a shrink. And I didn't want to do that, and everybody would hassle me about it, like close friends and that kind of thing. But other people didn't know, and other people would just tell me how great I looked, because, I was thin and I looked good. And it kind of, on one hand, it spurred me on, but then I knew that it wasn't good, because I can remember really vividly, I'd been ill and I hadn't eaten, and I got in the bath, and when you sit down, everyone has like a podgy bit on their tummy, like even thin people do. And there was nothing there, just nothing. And I was just like, oh, this isn't right for my body. Because I'm not naturally skinny, I'm not even naturally thin, I never have been. I'm kind of quite curvy and petite, but I'm not thin by any means. And so it made me realise, yeah, that's not really a good idea. so I kind of chilled out a little bit about it, and I was alright for a while. But I was constantly thinking about food, what I can eat, what I can't eat, diets, blah, 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 blah. And I was just so consumed with it. It was just exhausting. And I just wasted so much time in being miserable about it. And I'd go online and Google skinny celebrities and just sit there and look at them and think, oh, I wish I looked like that. And it was just pathetic. It was ridiculous. And then when I was, how old? I don't know how old I was, but anyway, I started going on the birth control pill, and then I started to gain weight, and a lot. And I gained about 2 stone, and I'm very short. I'm only 5'1", so it makes a big difference. And I gained a lot of weight, and I was really, really I was fat. I was overweight. Without sugarcoating it, and it really, really kind of made me think that I didn't care. I was just like, I don't care anymore. I've had so long dealing with, weight and that kind of thing. I don't care anymore. But I was fat. I didn't look nice. People would kind of say to me, oh yeah, you're not looking good, and oh, you've put so much weight on. Why don't you try and diet? Why don't you try and this? And it just would really, really get on my nerves. Until I decided that was it. I wanted to do something about it. So I started just making small changes. I'd have brown rice instead of white rice and all that kind of thing. And anyway, this isn't a kind of weight loss video. If you want to hear about how I lost that 2 stone, then let me know and I'll make a separate video about it. But I lost the weight, and I was back to kind of my normal weight, and my normal weight is what I am now. And the thing was, being slimmer actually made me be even more obsessed, because I was constantly thinking about it, and about, I want to reach this weight, and I want to do this, and I want to do that. And I think the purpose of this video is just to kind of share my experience with other people, and how easily it is to get so consumed with how much you weigh and how you look. And actually, when you think about it, how stupid it is absolutely ridiculous to care that much. Why do we do it? It's really, really just silly. And I now wish I hadn't spent that much time worrying about things like that when I was busy not eating. I didn't need to. I was normal. I wasn't overweight or anything. I was just normal. And I spent so much time thinking about it, and now it's kind of like an inbred part of my personality. And I still haven't got the kind of relationship with food where it's all good and I can just, it's there now, it'll still be there tomorrow. Not give it that kind of emotional, not give it any emotional thought really, and not make out like it's so important. And it's a really difficult thing to stop doing if you've kind of had a lifelong habit of doing it, which is what I had. And the place I am now is I want to be healthy. Would I like to lose a good stone? Yep. Would I like to be 8 stone and a size 8? Yeah, of course I would. But am I willing to starve myself and be miserable and consumed with it? No. I quite honestly can't be bothered. I can't be bothered to do. I don't want it that badly. And I think if you want to lose weight, you have to want it badly. And I do want to lose a little bit of weight, but I think if I go out to if I lost a stone, maybe half a stone, I'd be at my kind of lowish weight, the lowest I've ever been, in my adult life. But if I lost a stone, then I think I'd just be at a comfy weight, right for my size, right for my height and all that jazz. And I just think it's just such a shame that we end up feeling so consumed by it. because it's just it's not worth it. And it's really easy for me to sit here and say that because I suffered from it for such a long time, and I still do. You know, I can still feel like, oh, I'm too fat, and oh, this isn't right, I don't look right, and all that kind of thing. But at the end of the day, it's a state of mind. It really, really is a state of mind, and only you can kind of change that. So yeah, I'm gonna go now because I've just talked non-stop for the past 15 minutes, and I don't think you want this to be a 20-minute long video. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to just talk about that, just kind of get it off my chest. Really, it was more for me. I'd absolutely love to hear your responses on this, and to hear other people's experiences. If you've experienced that kind of feeling, definitely put it in the comments below, and I promise I'll read everything. It's really, really important, and it's really really empowering, I think, to talk about that kind of thing. And I really, really hope you all want to share your experiences if you've had any, and I'd love to know. So yeah, I hope you all have a great day, and I will see you guys very, very soon. Bye.